First, we go to the terminal and we are going to create a new directory. And we are going to create a project about the JavaScript reducer. So we are going to use JS reducer as the name. This is just any name you want to make. And then we go to the folder. We type the code dot to open the VS Code. Now we inside the folder and then we create a JavaScript file, and then we type num.js because we are going to deal with the number problems. And then in this project we are going to use the node-mod. So if you still haven't installed the node-mod, you can use npm install global and then node-mod. Because I already installed, so I will not install again. The reason we use the node-mod is we do not need to create an index to run the JavaScript. For example, if we console.log hello, and then we type node-mod num, then it will console.log the hello here. And then if we change something here, it will update automatically. So this is very convenient. Now we are going to talk about the array function reduce. For example, if we have the numbers, which is equal to 175, 50, and 25, and if you want to minus this number, for example, if you want to calculate the 175 minus 50 and minus 25, you may use the for loop. But actually, we can use the reduce functions. We can let the constant total is equal to nums.reduce, and the reducer method contains the current total, and which is the accumulator, and also the num, which is the next item, and then we can return the current total minus the number. And then we can console.log the total. Now you can see the result is 100. So if you want to make the things more clear, you can add the console.log, and then we can see what happened inside here. The current total is the current total, and then we also pass the number here. Now you can see in the first iteration, you will take the 175 as the initial values. So it will use the 175 minus 50, and then it get the 125, and then it minus the 25, and then at last it get 100. But how about if the case is we want to use the 1000 minus 175 and then minus 50 and minus 25, and to do this we have to add the initial values here. For example, because we want to state the initial value is 1000, so we can put the 1000 here and save it. Now you can see the first current total is 1000, which is the initial values, and then it will minus 175 here and get the 825, and then minus 50 and get this number, and then minus 25, and at last we get 750. And in some of the tutorial you can see some people will extract these reducer functions and then paste here, and then it will put the reducer here. Now you can see you will still get the same result, but we will stick to the old method in this tutorial. So for example, if we now try to use the 175 plus 50 and then plus 25, now actually we do not need to add the initial value here. It will default the value 175 as the current total. We need to change this to add, so we save it, and then you can see the first step, the current total is 175, it takes the first value to be the current total, and then it will add the 50 to become 225, and then it will add the 25 to become the 250. So like the previous example, if you want to make the initial value is 1000 instead of 175, then you need to add the 1000 here, and we change this to plus. So you can see it will start from 1000 and add this number one by one, and at last it get the 1250. But in most of the case, we will not just add the numbers, because most of the JSON you will have different properties. So let's take another examples. Now we create another files, items.js, and then we stop the server by using Ctrl+C, and then we create the items. So what we want to do is to find the total price of these 3 items. So like before, you can use the reduce method, and we have the current price and also the item. Now if you remember, the number is each of these number. So the item here is each of these objects. So at last we want to return the current price plus the item, because we want to add the price, not the whole object. So we will use item.price. Now if we save and then we use node-mod, because we want to run the items.js, we can type node-mod items. Now you can see there are some problems here. You can see there are object here, because the default values will become this one. If you want to look inside, we can copy this and we paste this console.log here. We change this to current price, and also this is the item. Now if you look at the console, you can see in the first step, it takes the whole object to be the current price. So this is not correct. So in order to set the initial value, like before, we have to add the 0 here. And then after we save, you can see the first is 0. And then it will add the price 50, because we use item.price instead of the whole object. It will add the 50 to here, and then it will add the 10 to 60, and also add the 1000 to these values. So this is the total. So this is how we can use the reduce functions in JavaScript.